guys, welcome to my studio. My name is Julie Mazzoni and I'm a mosaic artist. I'm going to talk a little bit about this piece that was accepted into the Decatur Fine Arts Exhibition for 2020. This mosaic really had two lives. It started out as an experiment, and then as it became more concrete, it became Manna. It started out with a friend donating a bunch of sticks to me, like the one that this is hanging from. And she spent a lot of time peeling the bark off and bleaching the sticks, and I really thought they were gorgeous. So I wanted to make it something important in a mosaic, and I decided to make a hanging piece, and they would hang from the stick. Now the substrate on this piece is completely handmade. I built it up in 7 strips of mesh that I wrapped around the stick and used thinset to build up a stiffness to it so that it was strong enough to hold the mosaic. It's still a pretty fragile piece because the strips are so long, and because the size of the stick and the skinniness of the strips, 7 strips seemed to be a really good number for me to start with. So I made that substrate, and I even made some dimension to it. It comes out in a couple places, and that was sitting in my workspace for a little while. It took me a long time to make that, and then it was sitting there waiting for inspiration. It was inspired when the Museum for Biblical Art in Dallas, Texas had a call for mosaic art. And calls for mosaic art are a little bit rare, and I really jumped on it. And the theme was the Old Testament. And so I wanted to make something that was very reminiscent of the Old Testament, and what came to mind was manna. Now, I happened to be doing a Bible study at the same time, and we were going over some Old Testament. And so it really hit home and became a very timely project for me. I realized also when I was making it that I had to make some decisions about how to show the bread, and I realized that when I researched manna, that the bread that comes from manna is not a loaf of bread. It's more like a flat, unleavened type bread. But just for the purposes of this project, I took some artistic license and I made it more into a loaf so it had more substance to it. People could identify it very quickly and easily as bread down at the bottom. And the manna is coming from heaven. So I wanted to just show what a gift it was. And so I put gold and pearls in that loaf to show how precious that bread was to the people fleeing Egypt. And even the manna coming down has a lot of gold and sparkle in it as it comes down. So this is a multimedia piece using some smalty imported from Italy, ceramic pieces, the 24 karat gold smalty, and then down here I have a lot of mother of pearl in the background behind the smalty and porcelain and ceramic pieces. In the end, the 7 strips served me really well because I think 7 is a significant number in the Bible, and particularly in this piece it shows, give us this day our daily bread, and there are 7 days in a week. So I just really think that the 7 strips works well for this piece. This mosaic Manna was not created in a vacuum. I had responded to calls for art from the Museum of Biblical Art in the past and made mosaics that covered topics such as the flood, Genesis, burning bush, and even a Garden of Eden piece called In the Garden. So Manna was another nice piece to sort of fill out my biblical themed mosaics. Thank you.